fears are mostly inborn and chase the children even at their young ages. However, most of them face their fears and get rid of them, but for some, it becomes the ultimate nightmare. Likewise, Orion is the kid with numerous worries and used to draw them in a diary. He wants to be friends with Sally, but her fear of losing words in front of her is a significant trouble. He walks past her and mentions some other fears too, such as answering the teacher's questions, clogging of the toilet, darkness, bees, dogs, oceans, and a bully named Richie. He is afraid of getting into jail after punching Richie back because he thinks that his nose will tuck in the brain and he will die. Therefore, he draws him dead, which infuriates Richie even more. He scolds the poor Orion and snatches his drawings. But all he can say is "Thank you, Richie." In return, it helps him to escape the giant Richie. Also, he is afraid to join the class on a planetary field trip. The next morning, he tries to escape it, but Sally invites him to sit with her. He refuses to join them on the trip, but she is still hopeful. Although he really wants to sit with her, his fears are overruled. His parents also encourage him to join the field trip, but he still fears social gatherings. So he takes time to rethink and ask for storytelling during the night. He doesn't want to be alone, so he wants a never-ending story, but his parents have to sleep eventually. So they leave the door open, considering his fears, but the horrors of the chilling night still haunt him. He screams in pain and fears the dark of the threatening nights. He begs for help, but no one can listen to his cries. Suddenly, a dark appearance emerged out of nowhere, and he called himself Dark. He is too frustrated to bear his screams and insomniac nights. He has a list of millions of children who fear the darkness, but Orion is at the top of the list. Orion's fear makes him sad because he curses him every night. Therefore, Dark decides to take him tonight to show how Dark works every night. Orion tries to encourage him because he has been bullied too, but he is still not ready to go with him. But he is not listening and takes him above in the skies. He keeps on screaming, but Dark is determined to overcome his fears tonight. It is revealed that it is just a story that Orion is making up to overcome her fears. Although he is referring to his own childhood, the story can be modified in any way he can. Her daughter Hypatia is excited to hear the story, but she knows that her fears are beyond just a story, and they can't be eradicated that easily. Adult Orion gives up on telling the story, but she really wants to listen to it. So, continuing the story with the thrilling trip of Orion with his fear takes them above the skies and oceans. He asks him to embrace the beauty of nature by admiring the life of the ocean, nightcrackers, fireflies, and even more. But Orion is too freaked out to open his eyes. He also mentions his only enemy, which is the light. His arrival is always disliked, but every person appreciates him and curses Dark. He has been mocked by Light since the start, but he can't do anything because he brings hope and light to people. On the other hand, Dark brings only darkness and despair. No one could ever understand the beauty of darkness. Suddenly, Orion falls from the flying Dark and is about to die, but luckily he is saved. He is so scared that he wants to go back home, but Dark can't move back now. He has to complete the cycle of 24 hours to go back because he spreads the night from where he passes. Orion must walk home if he wants to leave, so he has no option but to travel more in the dark. Hence, they fly to other friends of the dark who are also employers of night. They are silence, horror voices, sleep, insomnia, and sapna. They are not so happy to see Orion because they are also sick of his scramble and never-ending fear. They warn Dark to keep him away because his loud voice and fear can lure Light, which can kill Dark forever. But he values Orion and requests his friend to let him be with them for one night. They agree but ask him to keep Orion away. Dark wants him to observe their work during the night and take him with Sleep. She is responsible for putting people to sleep, but her methods are violated. She stomps the people with pillows, anesthesia them with sleepy serum, and bashes them with a hammer. Orion interrupts and forbids her from doing that. Sleep gets angry and pushes him away. They move to the horror voices, which produces clanking voices in the middle of the night. It scares the children, but Orion can't stop him either. Insomniacs are responsible for disturbing people's sleep by putting hurtful thoughts in their brains. She can't let them sleep peacefully. Silence sucks out all loud voices and silence the surroundings. But Orion also interrupts her work and pisses her off like all others. Lastly, Dark takes him to a dream lady who is busy creating a mesmerizing dream of a young lady. She achieves everything desired, but Orion destroys her dream as well. He thinks of horrific things, and it influences her beautiful dream. The giant Richie, every thought can affect the dream, and Orion brings the calamity of his own fears into her dream. The sleeping lady also gets furious and sends him away. The dream lady rescues all of them precisely by a flying moment, because if they die in a dream, they can die in real too. Orion fights for his friend Dark, but he regrets his fears and his unluck, which puts everyone in danger. Although he is not afraid of Dark now, he still finds himself guilty of trouble everyone. Orion mentions her future daughter, who is waiting for her father's happy ending. Hence, Orion is in the dark, flying above the skies and embracing the beauty of night. He is a friend of Dark now and enjoys the work of night employers. He helps to sleep people, wakes them up too for insomniacs, and produces horrific sounds. He also enjoys the firecrackers and ocean rides. Dark is disappointed to see another bad comment about himself, but Orion motivates him by encouraging the beauty of nights. After a short break, they move out to proceed with their duties. But the light hit them hard with unanswered taunts and blame. They leave immediately because no one likes the light. Hence, Orion likes Dark now, but he is still not over his fears of darkness. He pretends that he is no longer afraid. However, Hypatia is not happy with the story because her father is not telling the truth. He advises her father to say whatever he feels like saying. So, the adult father modifies the story to a realistic turn and forbids him to enter a dark room. He also says something awful to his friend Dark. Everything ruins their friendship, and Dark is so disappointed that he can't stop his fear. Even after so many moments of togetherness and showing the beauty of darkness. Still, Orion is not confident to walk in the dark. This breaks his heart, but Orion tries to mend things up with a speech, but it turns out to be more hurtful. The other night entities are also disappointed by the speech, so they decide to leave the dark. They are thinking of joining the light and asking for employment. Dark and Orion try to stop them, but no one listens. Dark is in deep grief, and nothing can cheer him up now. He gives up on his life and surrenders to his enemy. Orion tries really hard to push him back, but he doesn't listen and commits suicide. The light can rule the world now, and no one will fear darkness. The entire city is churning with the bright sunny light and admires the sparkles of it. But not for long. The hectic life puts them into severe frustration. They end up draining us of routine work, giving us no chance to get sound sleep and causing frequent fights. The night entities don't get any jobs and end up missing their dark badly. Hypatia can't see her father's story turning to a depressed turn, so she jumps in and greets her young father. She starts reading her motivational poem written about the beauty of the dark. This beautiful poem lures the night entities to realize their mistake and encourages Orion to find their friend again. The sleep puts Orion in deep sleep so that he can go back to where it all started. He faces his fears and enters the darkness of his room, which has always haunted him. Her every fear has been introduced, but he is a brave boy. Now, the dream lady recreates the dark here again in his dream, and they reunite finally. However, the fears reignite, and he starts creating the worst scenarios in his mind. The thoughts influence the dream, and they start draining into the hole. Hypatia jumps in and tries to help, but the pulling force is so magnetic that Dark falls into the draining hole. Only Orion can stop this from happening because his brain produces all these thoughts. The sleeping lady tied him up with the rope and pulled Dark outside. The other entities find them dying in the black hole and try to wake Orion from their deep sleep. It seems that sleep dosed him on high sleep, but the planetary field trip wakes him up instantly. Luckily, he wakes up, and the dream ends just before they are about to die. The night spreads all around the globe by the rebirth of Dark. A very pleasing reunion of all friends together starts working again. They fly home, and Orion says goodbye to his friend Dark. However, Hypatia is back home with his young father, and they wake up Orion's parents. The parents greet Hypatia, and Orion introduces her as his best friend. She tries to move to the future in Manhattan, where her adult father lives through mental power. But she is unable to move now. Surprisingly, a tech guy from the time machine hopes in and offers help. He is here for the future and makes a deal. Hypatia is required to kill some monsters from the future, which can remove history. Therefore, they shoot them dead with a laser gun and reach the time machine capsule. Finally, they reach Hypatia's home and meet the father. He thanks the tech guy for helping the daughter and killing the monsters. Another monster sneaks into the home, but they finally kill it with the laser gun. The time travels a few more years, and Hypatia has become a mother too. She also narrates the same story to her scared daughter, and this story is passed on to future generations. However, they don't fear the dark anymore. Now they admire the beauty of darkness and everything that lives in it. Adult Orion lives happily ever after with her granddaughter and Hypatia. His wife Sally also wants to admire the night sky. If you like this movie, then don't forget to like and subscribe the channel.